This is Dave Brixis.
And this is your man Joe Cleasy.
And this is the program, the high school edition. Another week of high school sports here, high school football, Central PA. Another great weekend
Mid-Penn.
for football, definitely. Yep. It's another great weekend. And I know we got up first the Mid-Penn Commonwealth. I know you're going to go over that.
Yeah, this coming off the weekend, there's actually some pretty good games all across the board. But let's stick with the Commonwealth real quick. Harrisburg and Mifflin County actually had a barn burner.
Yeah.
A very high-scoring game. Mifflin County was actually up 10 points in the fourth quarter before Harrisburg was able to get a couple big plays. And at this point, I would probably say their season. Right now, they're sitting at 2-3.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Mifflin County had a pretty good running game going on this weekend. But Harrisburg hit them with the big plays. But I think Mifflin County earned a little bit of respect. They got a pretty good game against Central Dauphin coming up.
Yeah.
This week's away. So that'll be a true test for them. Staying in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth. Speaking of Central Dauphin, they shut out State College 34-0.
Who went into Harrisburg and beat Harrisburg convincingly.
And how often does State College get shut out by a Mid-Penn team?
Yeah, and that's just I mean, it's just crazy to see. After, especially the week before Central Dauphin getting beat at home by Chambersburg, coming back around, getting themselves right and going back up there and take care of business at State College, who's coming off, a big win over Harrisburg when they came down. So, I think this conference is kind of interesting this year because you don't have your clear-cut favorite.
Right.
Let's be honest. The last 2 years, Central Dauphin was always a team, with all the talent that they had and stuff that everybody looked at. And Harrisburg jumped in last year, to join the fray of team to beat. But this year, it's really up to grab. I mean, you still say that Common Valley's probably the team. Right now, what they did to Chambersburg at home, convincingly won the game. But you still have Central Dauphin, who still has to play Common Valley, who's always a tough out. Mm-hmm. And, State College is an easy place to go, even though Central Dauphin went up there and took care of business. But Mifflin County, that's their first loss. Up till, late in the game, they were winning, looking at going 5-0, 2-0 in the conference.
Yep.
Against a decent Harrisburg squad. So I think this conference is still up in the air. I really do. I really believe that anybody can win this one. And it's going to come down to, these matchups coming later on in the season here.
And right now, it looks like Cumberland Valley, from an overall standpoint, probably look like the best team in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth. But, we still have 5 more games to go in the regular season, so you never know what can happen. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. Jumping over to the Capital, you have Steelton once again, just taking care of business. Coming out the squeaker over, coming out with the squeaker over East Penn, but doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the job done. Once again, they find a way to win. Where some teams would fall, but I mean, the hat goes off to East Penn. Taking them to the wire with that nice squad that Steel High has.
And you wonder, would it be some type of letdown after the beating they gave Trinity the week before? But they were pretty hyped for that game. It was over at Trinity, so I know these players don't mind, the blowouts, but once in a while you do want to get tested in a close game. See where your heart is at sometimes. So.
Looking at it, probably the big surprise, Middletown there, being at 4-1. They had a game with Camp Hill came down. Mm-hmm. Camp Hill continued to fight back. After playing pretty bad the last couple of weeks, Camp Hill actually put a nice game together. They got the lead late in the game, but they gave up some big play. Mm-hmm. Ended up driving all the way down the field though to get themselves in position to win, or at least tie. Got down to the 15. Schuster. Beautiful pass, just overthrown probably about an inch or two. Mm-hmm. And that was it. I mean, the corner could have done it. They come out to kick the field goal, and what happens? Bad snap. Game over. Middletown holds on for the W there. Trinity, how about them? Just once again going to Milton Hershey. Milton Hershey take care of business.
It's 42-0 at halftime. That's insane. It's
just not a Trinity team we're used to seeing. This is not the way Trinity usually plays. And sometimes when you're off, you're off. Let's be honest. I mean, sometimes it's hard to get back on track when people expect you to do something and you don't win and you get blown out. That sometimes some people tank it. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens there. That goes on. Sorry about that. Something just jumped up on me. But you got some other squads there. You got Susquehanna still there. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens here to finish out the season with Middletown still having to play Steel High. Yeah. Milton Hershey still having to play them too. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out.
And you don't hear too much about that Milton Hershey team, but the last couple of weeks they put a ton of points on the board. We've seen them the week before at Camp Hill.
Yeah.
Had 30-something points at halftime. So that's definitely an explosive offense.
Yeah.
The Trojans
they can put points up like it's their job. Yeah.
All right, now taking a look at the Mid-Penn Colonial Division. We really don't talk too much about these guys.
No.
But right now, Shippensburg is at the top of the conference. Actually, Shippensburg and Gettysburg are both undefeated in conference play. Looks like Big Spring and Shippensburg are both 3-2 right now. So,
Yeah, overall. Yeah, and you look at that, and it's their overall records are not very impressive by anybody. A game over 500 for two of the teams. Everybody else is under 5, or everybody else is under 500. So
I think most likely what you'll see is Shippensburg will probably take this conference.
they should. Yeah.
And get a nice seeding for the District 3 playoffs.
Yeah.
They have a nice running back, William Burt.
Very good running back.
Pretty good. I think he's a little bit. He is under the radar because in the Harrisburg area we don't really talk too much.
No.
Or just the media in general don't talk about the Colonial division that much, but he's a pretty good back. So.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens in that division coming down the stretch there. Jumping over to what I consider still the most competitive conference here.
Yeah.
The Keystone. I mean, you're looking at 3 teams still undefeated at this point. Yeah, Cedar Cliff, McDevitt, Lower Dauphin. Lower Dauphin continues to roll. I know people say, well, their schedule's been softer in the first half of the year. Now they're starting to get into the meat of the schedule, which is true. They still got Susquehanna to come up with, McDevitt, Cedar Cliff, and teams like that. Mm-hmm. But in the same respect, over 5 games, they've had 4 shutouts. They've given up a total of, I think, 28 points in 5 games, which is crazy. And so that's a team, they're going to play Susquehanna. Susquehanna's coming off that loss to McDevitt. They want that. They need the game. They're sitting at 3-2. They need this game. And last year, the teams were pretty much at the same point. When we look back last year, here it was. Lower Dauphin 5-0, playing at home, ended up losing to Susquehanna Township. And that's kind of got Susquehanna back on the winning track. They started to win again, got themselves in the playoffs, had a decent seed, won the first round game and stuff like that. So that got them back. Will that do the same thing this year? Or will Lower Dauphin all of a sudden take care of business and do what they need to do? So we'll definitely find out there. Mechanicsburg looked off. Troy Spencer, I got to give a shout out to Troy. 287 yards rushing for a QB.
Big time.
Dude worked this offseason. He worked hard this offseason to get to that point. Mm-hmm. He took care of business, and it paid off for him. So giving a shout out to him as well. Cedar Cliff getting the big matchup. I know the big rivalry matchup. Ford, from what I understood, was a little off in the first half, but came through in the second half, just destroyed him. Mm-hmm. Ended up, Andrew Ford there just took care of business. Hershey continues to fly under the radar there. Another win this week. They're sitting at 4-1, right behind those top 3 teams, and they're not going to be an easy out either. So you're looking at like I said, I think this conference is pretty well put together.
It is, and I just want to say we have something flying around right now. But anyway, one of the bigger games this week actually comes out of the Commonwealth Division, Harrisburg and Central Dauphin East. I think this game is a fork in the road game for both of these teams. Central Dauphin East, they beat who they supposed to be last week in Carlisle. Harrisburg probably had a tougher time than you probably expect against Mifflin County.
Yeah.
Right now they're sitting at 2-3. Could they still make the playoffs if they lose this game? Most likely, but it's a home game. It's Saturday. It's against Central Dauphin East, who is becoming, in a way, their rival.
Yeah.
Because Central Dauphin East has played them pretty good the last, couple of years. So, just want to shout out Raekwon Purdy for Central Dauphin East, one of the best return men in the state, at least through these first 5 games, and I think he'll probably play a big part in Saturday's game. Harrisburg will definitely want to watch out, of course, for the running game, Central Dauphin East. But like I said, Raekwon Purdy can also put East in good positions offensively from his return game. And from East standpoint, they'll probably want to make sure 2 things: tackle Darren Davis Ray, the running back. He's a strong, powerful, and fast back, and he's pretty much put Harrisburg on his back since Robert Martin went down with his injury. Yeah.
So, another week high school football. Is this going to be the time that we're going to start seeing the separation occur?
Yeah.
Especially in this Keystone Division, where Lower Dauphin, has to take care of Susquehanna this week to make sure they stay perfect. McDevitt and Cedar Cliff continue to got to do what they got to do. Mm-hmm. McDevitt's got Hershey, so Hershey. Just imagine if Hershey gets a W here, big signature win for them. They keep themselves right in the race. But once again, McDevitt definitely can't take nothing away. They just continue to do what they got to do. Sometimes it seems like they're almost a little bit bored, playing, and they're just waiting for those playoffs to come. Not taking anything away from them, but just sometimes it looks like that, where they go on cruise and all of a sudden, all right, it's time to play again. Boom. I think if they ever put a full game together, that's probably the most dangerous team in AAA right now.
I think they did against Mechanicsburg, but their coach didn't like it, so
Yeah.
It's best to ride, coach.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So we'll see what's coming up, down the road here, and they're just going to keep taking care of business here.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, and they're definitely just overall from a team standpoint, the offensive line is excellent. I don't even think we've seen their full offensive capabilities yet. Even in the game last week, I felt as though they kind of let up on the pedal a little bit, and then got that final score, and when Susquehanna Township got a couple of scores.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's still, you got to give a shout out to Big Andre Robinson. Just continues
He's a
to
real
show
deal.
why he's probably the best running back in this area, if not one of the top running backs in the state and the
Definitely.
nation. I mean, he just continues to do what he needs to do, game in and game out.
Yeah.
He's not running for like 200-300 yards, but he's running when you need the yards. He still has great averages, per yard, per carry and stuff like that. But he just gets the job done.
And to be, he's a pretty big kid, I think.
Yeah.
And to be so big and be able to catch the ball at the backfield, especially on the screen plays. I mean, he killed Hannah.
Yeah.
On a one screen play early in the first quarter, put him in scoring position. Again, so.
Yeah. So we just want to wish everybody this week, once again, best of luck. Good luck. Another good week of high school football. Looks like some great weather again on Friday night.
Yeah.
With some sunshine. It's going to be a little bit warmer. So we'll see how those kids. Make sure you guys out there, you're drinking water before the game. It's going to be a little more humid.
Up.
Yeah, they're still cramping up. All right. So make sure it's supposed to be more humid this weekend. So make sure you guys are drinking your water, taking care of business, and we want to wish everybody the best of luck. Week number 6, we're hit the halfway point. We're past that.
Yep.
So now it's time for making sure you take care of business so you can get those playoffs. Remember, only 16 teams get in those upper divisions. The 8 in the double, I think, and 4, right? The single.
Yep, and the toughest division, actually the toughest class is 3A.
Yeah.
Again, into the playoffs. Like you lose 3 or 4 games, you probably won't even get in.
Yeah, it's tough. Very difficult to get into that because there's so many in that AAA conference there. So, best of luck to you guys. This is Dave Brixius.
This is Joe Cleasy.
And with the program.